Okay. So now let's have a look. Same timing of things. Okay, so I'm going to use the black car in the driveway when to start giving the instructions, because we know that that gave me comfortably enough time to get all of the words out of my mouth. But now let's look at what happens when those words aren't translated into what it is that you're wanting the student to do. Okay? So again, I'm checking all around. I'm putting an indicator on because there's a car that's just turned into this road. Now this time I'm going to sort of pretend to be the instructor and the student, and I'm deliberately not going to do things that I'm asked to do when I'm asked to do them. So coming up to the black car now, okay, so centre mirror, no, come on, centre mirror, check your centre mirror, yeah, now check your left mirror, good, okay, now, and again, totally run out of time, nowhere near enough time to get everything in when errors start to get introduced by the student. Trust me, they're going to be there a lot in the early stages. It's not that they're being ignorant, it's not that they're not intending to do what it is that you've asked them to do, it's not that they're not listening, it's just the way that the human brain to begin with has to process information before it sounds familiar, and before the processes sort of make sense and start to become a lot easier for the student. In the early stages, even though they've clearly heard what you've said, they just simply won't carry out what you've asked them to do, which means you then need to step in and remind them to do it and still take control of the situation, or keep control of the situation at all key points. Okay, so what we're going to do now, same exercise, same left hand turn, but this time let's bring my instruction back a lot earlier. Okay, still got the blue car up on the pavement, still got the black car in the driveway. Okay, but now I'm going to take the instruction back even further. So hopefully again on camera, you can see where the blue car is, you know where the black car is in the driveway, and then before we get to that black car, there's a largish tree in a garden over on the right hand side. Okay, so we've got a couple of rows of hedges, and then we've got that tree, then we've got the black car, then we've got the blue car up on the pavement. Okay, so this time I'll start the instructions again, pretending to be a student, not following things correctly as I should do, and seeing if I still have time as the instructor, you know, to kick in and rectify things as I need to. Okay, no need for a signal this time. Okay, coming up to that tree on the right now. Okay, so check your centre mirror. Your centre mirror. Oh yeah. Now your left door mirror. Left. Yeah. Left indicator. That's down. Gently brake. Clutch down. Steer left. Okay. So that's looking more like it. Now, even when your students start to develop and they're not making anywhere near as many errors as perhaps they did the first time round. So say, for example, you go out the lesson, you're going around a little route like this, doing lots of left turns. Hopefully, during the course of that lesson, you're going to need to give them less and less direct instructions. I would still advise very strongly, though, to give those instructions as early as possible, so you've got plenty of time to step in, intervene, and support and rectify anything that isn't quite going according to plan. Okay, it will also give you time to realise when things are going according to plan, and therefore you don't need to give quite as much support as you need to. So as the lesson progresses, this is what you're then hopefully working towards. So we're going to use the same timing of things this time. So we're going to use that tree over on the right after I've pulled up. But this time I'm going to be playing the part not only of the instructor but of a student, but a student that's now learnt a bit, okay, that's already starting to get their head around what it is that they're meant to do and the order in which they're meant to do things. And all I want to do then as the instructor is just see if I can back off my level of support a little bit, still give them quite a lot of help and help them with their timing of things. But really at this stage I'm looking, if you like, for clarity, for validation that what we've been practicing has made sense, and they're starting to put things into practice themselves without a massive amount of support from me. Okay, so then it would look something a bit more like this. Again, still going to use the tree as the start of the timing of things. No need for a signal. Okay, and now we're going to do, again, left-hand turn. Okay, students, so just check your mirrors for me. Nice, great. What are you going to do next? Good. Okay, think about your speed and gears and also your position at the giveaway line. Lovely, very nice. Okay, so hopefully you can clearly see through that demonstration how you progress through a lesson. You can use the same timing of things to help you and help your student, but you can back off the amount of detail that you need to go into to get them to do everything that they need to in good time. And then, as I suggested, the more advanced they get in their development, particularly as they're heading up towards test standard, then again you can leave everything even later and give them even less support. So ultimately what you're looking for is to make everything that they do as independent as possible. So you're really there in the final stages of helping them to pass their L test, just giving them route directions and the odd little bit of guidance based on your years of experience and wisdom, if required. Okay, so ultimately you're working back towards where we started this whole little video of getting them to do things more like a full license holder. So now we'll go back to using the blue car to time things. So about here, I'd say to my student, at the end of the road, turn left. And then I'd simply watch, hopefully, them go through everything they need to do for a lovely, nice, controlled left-hand turn. Okay, and that's it. So, of course, then the same principle applies if you're teaching a student how to turn right from a side road onto a main road, or turn from a main road into a side road, or deal with a roundabout for the first time, be it a mini roundabout, a regular roundabout, or a large roundabout, or a set of traffic lights, or a meeting situation. It really doesn't matter what it is that you're dealing with. You as the instructor in the very early stages need to increase the amount of time you're giving yourself and your student massively to help you get everything out of your mouth, get everything into their heads, allow them to perhaps make some mistakes, giving you time to rectify them, and then build on that as you continue to practice. Okay, so let's again just finally have a look at what that difference is in actual distance from what I originally did as a full license holder to needing to give full talk through instruction to a completely novice student. Okay, and the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to just count out in seconds. I'm going to keep the speed the same. Okay, so although you can't see it on camera, I'm going to be driving at 10 miles an hour until I get very close up to the give way line. Okay, and then I'm just going to count out how many seconds it takes me to get from my initial starting point as a full license holder, turning left at the end of the road, to me need to give full talk through to a student who doesn't really know what they're doing and probably will make some mistakes. Okay, so first time round, this is how many seconds it took me. Okay, I'll tell you when I'm going to start. Okay, so I'm going 10 miles an hour now, and if I was a full license holder, I'd start my routine about here. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so let's see how many seconds I am from the end of the road going at 10 miles an hour when I'm giving, or if I were giving, should I say, instructions to a novice student, full talk through, allowing for some mistakes within that process. Now, of course, I'm not saying that you need to do all of this at 10 miles an hour. The reason I'm using 10 miles an hour is just so that we've got a direct comparison between the timing of things by a full license holder to the timing of things novice student who's likely to make mistakes. Okay, I'm not going to pull back over to the side this time. I'm just going to keep the car moving. Going about 20 at the moment, so I'll bring that down to about 10 miles an hour. The nearer we get to that tree, if you remember, that I was using on the right to start instructions, full talk through instructions to a total novice. Okay, so I'm starting to let that speed drop from back here. Again, I'll tell you when I'm getting to the start point for the instructions, and let's see how many seconds it takes me, or would take me. Okay. So I started the instructions from here, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, 11 and 12 and 13 and 14 and 15 and 16 and 17 and 18. Okay, so there you go. Just goes to show you, doesn't it? As a full license holder, from memory, I think it took me 4 seconds from the point when I would start my routine for turning left, whereas as an instructor teaching a novice student who's likely to make mistakes, it would take near 18 seconds, so more than 4 times as long. So I hope this video has been helpful for you in really highlighting how critically important it is to, as a driving instructor, start giving instructions and also route directions, to your students really early, way earlier than perhaps you previously thought it may be required. Because I promise you, if you don't bring your timing of giving instructions back about 4 times sooner than you would start to do it yourself as a driver, then you're going to be running into a hell of a lot of problems. You're simply just not going to have time to get things out of your mouth, and ultimately your teaching style is going to be what we call very retrospective, because you're not getting time to spot the faults that the students are making or time to correct them, and you're going to get a lot of late and heavy braking. You'll probably be using dual controls quite a lot. You'll feel like situations are getting away from you, and you're going to be stopping quite regularly to have a chat with this student to figure out why they're struggling to do things that you think should be much easier for them. I can promise you, in the early stages at least, if they're struggling, the likelihood, the high likelihood is you're just simply not giving them enough time to hear what you're saying, to think about it, process it, and then to put that instruction into some form of action with their eyes, their hands, or their feet. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers, bye.